it's going to be the whole screen, not just part of it there.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, I'd like to welcome you all to another in the series of SongSpace streams, live stream concerts. The SongSpace series and the SongSpace streams series are made possible by the generous support of First Unitarian Church of Pittsburgh and also the support of our interim minister, Connie Grant, Reverend Connie Grant, our board of trustees, and the music directors, Ellen Gosian and Chris Rust. And we thank them all for their support. Tonight we have a very special show. Let me bring in our guest for a minute, actually for most of the show, and also our other special guest. Joe Jencks will be performing tonight. Let's see if I can get Joe on the screen here. Oh, I see the problem. There we go. There's Joe. Hi, Joe.
Hey, how are you?
Good to see you here. And here's Jim Altes of the Friendship House Concert Series. And Joe is here not only to give us a great concert, which Joe always does, but also to celebrate the Friendship House Concert Series and Jim and Llouise Altes, the hosts of that series, who for more than 16 years and more than 100 concerts have supported live music and folk music in Pittsburgh. I was thinking to myself, what shows have I seen? Actually, the shows are walking distance from my house, and so I've seen many, and I can remember seeing, I think I've seen Joe Crookston there. I know I've seen Joe Jencks there. The Early Mays, the Joan and Joni show that Kip and Martin and Allison Shapira did. I've seen Dan Bowling there. He's been, the Friendship House Concert Series has been great for Pittsburgh and great for folk music, and we're so happy to have Joe here to celebrate the series and celebrate Jim and Eloise. Joe, would you like to say something more?
Sure. I'll just say, hey, Jim, good to see you. How you doing? I'm not sure if Jim's hearing us.
Yeah, Jim, can you hear us? No, Jim can't hear us. Okay, so technology, it's our friend, right? Let me see. I'll see if I can bring him back in.
Fair enough. Well, while Brian's working on that, I will say that Jim and Llouise Altes have hosted me more times than I could count. They have helped me out in so many different ways. In addition to hosting house concerts, over 100 shows, and at least, I think, 10 of those were me. So I'm very touched by that. They also sort of had a folk motel going. Llouise and Jim have hosted so many of us in so many different times as we're passing back and forth across the country. There's been an open door policy at Jim and Eloise's place. And that has been such a gift for so many of us. But it's allowed us to build a deep and real friendship with Llouise and Jim and with their whole family. The connection with the two of them has been such a gift to so many of us. And we, of course, those of us that have performed at their place and stayed at their place many more times, in our travels, we're sad to know that they were ditching the big house and downsizing to a smaller space and would no longer be able to host house concerts. But also, the idea for this evening's concert began as a celebration of their 50th wedding anniversary, which was back on September 3rd in 2020. They got married September 3rd in 1970. And they came up to me and asked me almost 2 years in advance if I would be willing to come to Pittsburgh and give a special concert in honor of their 50th wedding anniversary. And that, of course, didn't happen because of the pandemic. And so tonight is very much a celebration of their work as hosts, both of concerts and itinerant musicians like myself, working musicians, touring musicians, but also 50 years of dedication and devotion and genuine love for each other. And that is a very hopeful thing. So with that, we'll hop into the concert. And thank you so much for tuning in this evening. I'm going to start out with a song that I wrote. I'm going to ditch the headphones too. Yeah. So much for elegant beginnings there. But it's easier for me to sing if I don't have the headphones on, actually. So anyway, This is a song that I wrote on the morning that Pete Seeger passed away, but it's based on his testimony from 1955 before the House Un-American Activities Committee. It's called Let Me Sing You a Song. Asked me here to tell you about my neighbors and my friends, to talk about the who and what, the where and how and when. But I won't give you anything you don't already know. But if you'd like, I'll sing that list of songs before I go. Let me sing you a song about the people that I love, the poets and philosophers, the workers and the wanderers, the ones who walk the picket lines, who dare to stand and fight, and the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. Well, you say it's un-American to do the things I do, but I sing for justice, liberty, and civil rights, it's true. But I say it's un-American to ask me how I vote, how I pray, or what I believe. But here's a song I wrote. Let me sing you a song about the people that I love, the poets and philosophers, the workers and the wanderers, the ones who walk the picket lines, who dare to stand and fight, and the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. If I had a hammer, I'd have her in the morning, I'd have her in the evening, all over this land. I'd have her out danger, I'd have her out warning, I'd have her out love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. If you want to send me to prison, I guess that's the way it'll be. 'Cause I won't give you fodder for your paranoid machine. If the price of my silence is shackles, well then feathers take me away. For I will live to sing again and rise with a brand new day. Let me sing you a song about the people that I love, the poets and philosophers, the workers and the wanderers, the ones who walk the picket lines, who dare to stand and fight, and the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. Sing with me from wherever you are. Let me sing you a song about the people that I love, the poets and philosophers, the workers and the wanderers, the ones who walk the picket lines, who dare to stand and fight, and the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. Yes, the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. Thanks so much for tuning in this evening. We're just getting started. And Glad to be here with SongSpace concerts based out of the First Unitarian Church in Pittsburgh. And I'm Joe Jencks. For those of you that don't know me, I'm guessing you do know me or you wouldn't have tuned into this broadcast. But on the off chance you don't, great to meet you. And so glad to be here this evening celebrating Llouise and Jim Altes and 50 years of marriage and devotion to each other and the extraordinary kindness and hospitality and graciousness that has rippled outward as a result of their devotion to each other. They hold community in a beautiful space. And I asked Jim and Eloise if they had any specific requests for this evening, and they just asked for some of my labor songs. And so I'll do a few of the older ones in a bit, but this is a newer one. I wrote this for the 100th anniversary of the Winnipeg General Strike. In 1919, the workers of Winnipeg seized control of the city. There were many issues at hand, but workers' rights and safety, trying to abolish child labor, women's suffrage as a universal right in Canada. But the organizing work that they did spread across North America and to Europe. And what was beautiful is that some of the organizing tactics they were using had come out of the labor movement in Europe. So it was this beautiful back and forth. And James Connolly himself, one of the great Irish revolutionaries and writers of freedom and liberation, studied with the industrial workers of the world, the Wobblies, the movement that was involved in the Winnipeg General Strike in 1919. Of course, Connolly had been killed in 1916, but the movement lived on. In Canada, it was known as the OBU, the One Big Union. And this is a song I wrote in honor of a festival that I played at up there in May of 2019. It's called Winnipeg 1919. Was 1919 and all around the world people started marching with their victory flag unfurled. We've shed our blood on battlefields, enslaved in deep dark mines. We rally to the banner, bread and roses, it's our time. Come gather fellow workers and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. From Europe and to Canada, across the USA, we cry out for justice and for fair and equal pay. All sisters and brothers and all workers here unite. We strive for one big union and defend our common rights. Come gather fellow workers and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. From Halifax and Thunder Bay to the Fraser River shore, Seattle, San Francisco, and Chicago hear us roar. From Boston on to Dublin town are heard the people's cries. No more to drudge and idler when the workers organize. Come gather fellow workers and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. Some of us were born of means and others not a dime. We spend our lives in service to a cause we hold sublime. All laborers in commonwealth, now let our voices say that one way or another we will bring the greater day. Come gather fellow workers and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. Big Bill Haywood, Mother Jones, and Eugene Debs, along with Emma Goldman and Joe Hill and all the Reds, and all those fellow travelers who beckoned to the call. An injury to one of us is an injury to all. Come gather, fellow workers, and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. We may not win our struggle here, but sure as hell we'll try. For the future of our children, we are steadfast by and by. It's only when our minds are joined with muscle we can stand and bring to birth a new world, arm in arm and hand in hand. Come gather, fellow workers, and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. Come gather, fellow workers, and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. We rise up all around the world and sing our freedom song. I'm going to switch to the guitar now. This is, by the way, an acoustic bouzouki built in the shape of a small parlor-sized guitar. Inevitably, there will be questions, so it's really just an overgrown mandolin. One of the things that Jim and I share is a fondness of trains. And I realize it's possible that began for me. That began for me probably with watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. So there's an interesting little Pittsburgh tie-in for you. And yeah, this next song is called Let It Rain. I was sitting on a dock in Maine some time back, several summers ago, and it was one of those nights when the sky was so clear. It felt like you could see every star that was up there. All the stars in the Milky Way and beyond. And the bay that I was sitting on was so calm that you could see all those same stars reflected in the water below. And there I sat feeling like I was stuck in the middle of a celestial sandwich. And the words of Rabbi Hillel came to mind. This idea that a person should keep a note in each of their front pockets. And in one note, it should say, I am the center of the universe. And the other note in the other pocket should say, I am a speck of dust, for both are equally true. And I jumped from those thoughts to the 13th century Sufi mystic Rumi, out beyond ideas of right doing and wrongdoing. There is a place, I will meet you there. And from there I jumped to an old American folk song in my head, the last verse of which has always struck me as something quite profound. How often at night, when the heavens are bright, with the light from the glimmering stars, have I stood there amazed and asked as I gazed if their glory exceeds that of ours. Let it rain. One moment of mercy was all that it took to drive me clean out of my head. A piece of my heart had been sleeping so long that I had given it for dead. Better that I had traveled this journey and on have returned here unchanged. But the lilacs in bloom and the thunderhead loose, and my lonely heart prays for the rain. Let it rain, oh, let it rain. Let the waters of love wash away all the pain. Let the hope of redemption be all that remains. Let it rain, let it rain, let it rain. When the ancients and mariners looked toward the heavens at night, did they yearn for the day? Or were they transfixed by the wonders they saw in the lights that guided their way? I need to believe that there is no sadness so great that it cannot heal. But sometimes the longing inside, it consumes me so much. Well, it's all that I feel. Let it rain, oh, let it rain. Let the waters of love wash away all the pain. Let the hope of redemption be all that remains. Let it rain, let it rain, let it rain. When I stand on the ledge and I cling to the edge for dear life, afraid to let go. What if love's call pulls me into a free fall? What then? Oh, tell me what then? Somewhere way out there, beyond right and wrong, there's a place that I long to see. If I don't return, I'll be wishing you well from wherever I happen to be. Let it rain. Let it rain, oh, let it rain. Let the waters of love wash away all the pain. Let the hope of redemption be all that remains. Let it rain, let it rain, let it rain. Let it rain, oh, let it rain. Let the waters of love wash away all the pain. Let the hope of redemption be all that remains. Let it rain, let it rain, let it rain. Let it rain, let it rain, let it rain. So I remember when the most ridiculous thing and the most bizarre thing that we were dealing with was that the president at the time had tried to buy Greenland from Denmark. This got past some people, but in fact, in August of 2019, the then El Jefe tried to purchase Greenland and got very upset when Denmark would not sell. And I thought this was hilarious, actually, of all the horrific and terrible things that had happened over the arc of that presidency. This one had just gone like beyond the pale and out into the absurd. And I sort of channeled like my best drawing in of Tom Lehrer and Tom Paxton and Anne Feeney. And many of you know Anne Feeney passed recently. Yeah, very sorry about that, and she will be missed. But if you don't know her music, look her up online. She's not hard to find online these days. But this was a song that I just decided really, truly in the spirit of Tom Lehrer to begin with, just needed to be written. And I giggled all the way from New Jersey up to central Vermont, where I had a concert that evening working on this song. It's called It's Not For Sale. Up in the North Atlantic, there's a place that's quite well known, though not too many visit, even if you would call it home. Subjects of the Danish crown an independent state, but you can't procure a nation or just monetize their fate. It's not for sale, it's not for sale. You can throw a temper tantrum, you can rant and you can rail, but you can't have everything you want, you're not too big to fail. It's not for sale, it's not for sale. The Prime Minister of Denmark said this is quite absurd. You cannot purchase Greenland, that's the final word. You called the woman nasty 'cause she would not do your bidding. People all around the world say, man, is this guy kidding? It's not for sale, it's not for sale. You can throw a temper tantrum, you can rant and you can rail, but you can't have everything you want, you're not too big to fail. It's not for sale, it's not for sale. Now there is no fake truth, there is only fact or fiction. No bloviating blunderbuss can reconcile the friction. A tweet is not a law, and no order can be given to make a people sell to you the country that they live in. It's not for sale, it's not for sale. You can throw a temper tantrum, you can rant and you can rail, but you can't have everything you want, you're not too big to fail. It's not for sale, it's not for sale, it's not for sale, it's not for sale. Try Iceland, it's not for sale, it's not for sale. Well, there's a little silliness for you on a Saturday night. Yeah. When I was a kid, I wanted to grow up to be an astronaut. And I know exactly where that started. The idea of being an astronaut. It was right here. It was right here with these little fellas right here. This is a vintage Lego space kit from the late 1970s. And I would just imagine myself riding this through space, like that space I was looking at that night on the dock in Maine, and just and cruising through space in my little spacesuit. And I just want to note how amazing it is, amidst all of the other things that people are struggling with and wrestling with. We parked an amazing scientific package on Mars, and it looks a lot less like that first little ship I showed you, and it looks a whole lot more like this, a little wheeled rover with solar panels on it and little scoops and doohickeys. But that's going to tell us so much about the universe that we live in, about the solar system, about Mars, about our own planet. And I think that's amazing. And the kid in me that really wanted to be an astronaut is pretty excited that happened. If you haven't watched the landing, I encourage you to go take a look. You can find it all over YouTube. But the spaceship comes in just like, and it just hovers there and lowers that rover on a crane and then takes off again. It was totally Buck Rogers' business. It was astonishing. And I want to point that out because I think it's good for us to notice the things that are hopeful, things that are exciting, and things that are good. And I know that Jim and Llouise got their vaccines. That is good. A whole lot of other people have. I know a lot of teachers in my life that are getting or have gotten their vaccines. That's good. A lot of people in the medical fields. That's good. I'm not high on anybody's priority list, so it's probably continuing with the Great Basement Tour of 2020 carried on to 2021 right now for me, broadcasting here from Illinois in this little space that I built here for recording and broadcasting. But I just want to throw that out there, that there are so many things to be hopeful about right now. And it's good to look toward those things. And That has absolutely nothing to do with this next song, other than one of the more hopeful things that happened in my life in the last year was that I got to do a project for the Library of Congress. And the folk archives at the Library of Congress. And I dug very deep into a body of material that was recorded in 1939 by John A. Lomax and his second wife, Ruby Tyrrell Lomax, down at the Rayford Prison in Rayford, Florida, June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of 1939. And these were recorded on these old Bakelite discs that had aluminum acetate coating, and there was a machine that would cut the groove in the record. And so sometimes they would record only portions of songs, and other times they would capture as much as they were able. But then over the years, there were different versions floating around. And I had heard various versions of this, but I had never heard the original. And I went back and fairly painstakingly transcribed the lyrics that were sung originally in 1939 in that prison yard. And I was very moved by that. And there was one verse where I could really only make out one word, Jordan Water. I could hear, Lord, something, Jordan Water. And I took a little license as a songwriter and filled in the words that I knew should be there. So it was sort of an anthropological co-write with these folks from back in the day. But it's called Take This Hammer.
Take this hammer and give it to the captain. Take this hammer and give it to the captain. Take this hammer and give it to the captain. Tell him I'm gone, Lord, tell him I'm gone. And if he asks you, was I running? If he asks you, was I running? If he asks you, was I running? Tell him I was flying, Lord, tell him I was flying. Captain, captain, this old hammer too heavy. Captain, captain, this old hammer too heavy. Captain, captain, this old hammer too heavy. For the likes of man, for the likes of man. Must be the hammer that killed John Henry. Must be the hammer that killed John Henry. Must be the hammer that killed John Henry. But it won't kill me, Lord, it won't kill me. Oh, this hammer shine like silver. Oh, this hammer shine like silver. Oh, this hammer shine like silver. But it rings like gold, Lord, it rings like gold. Don't you make me wear these old cold shackles. Don't you make me wear these old cold shackles. Don't you make me wear these old cold shackles. 'Cause they wound my soul, Lord, they wound my soul. Lord, I'm coming to that Jordan water. Lord, I'm coming to that Jordan water. Lord, I'm coming to that Jordan water. let me drown, don't you let me drown. Take this hammer, hammer and give it to the captain. Take this hammer, hammer and give it to the captain. Take this hammer, hammer and give it to the captain. Tell them I'm gone, Lord, tell them I'm gone. Tell them I'm gone, Lord, tell them I'm gone. Tell them I'm gone, Lord, tell them I'm gone.
Take This Hammer, first recorded in 1939 at the Rayford Prison by John Lomax. And the singers in the prison yard there. Amazing, amazing stuff. So excited to be here this evening. Going to continue on. Going to switch to the electric bouzouki now for a request from Llouise and Jim, one of my older labor songs, a song called Song of the Rails. For those who did not know that an electric bouzouki could exist, here it is. This looks not so much like an electric bouzouki normally would, and this is sort of pear-shaped like a mandolin, but Baird Blaine, who made this for me, built it sort of in the shape of the old Lloyd Loar mandolins, like what Bill Monroe used to play, a bit of an homage there. And Song of the Rails.
Well, if you have a minute, John, I sure feel like hell. The union vote is coming up, and things aren't looking well. You know I'd like to stand up for the things that I believe, but it seems that my life's not as simple as it used to be. I was born in Tulsa back in 1951. They say that I could drive a spike before I learned to run. In a land of dust and corn, the rails spoke a steel truth. The men that kept them working were the heroes of my youth, for they sang, come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. Come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. When I was a young man and I thought to run away, a freight train, it came through our town and I got on one day. I rode it down to Gallup and then back to Santa Fe. Everywhere I listened, I could hear the railway workers singing, come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. Come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. In 1969, I met a soul to match my life. But her father said that I must have a job to take a wife. So I looked around at all the work that I might do, found that it was time for me to sing the only song I knew. Hey, come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. Come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. When Now we have 5 children and they bring me joy each day. But the bills keep getting higher and I've nothing left to pay. The union says that we must strike and stand up, don't you see? But I've just got too damn many people who depend on me. Hey, come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. Come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. At the heart of every worker is the welfare of his kin. And to walk away from pay that's good, it seems, is such a sin. But the bosses, they don't understand how hard I work each night. And I've got mouths to feed, and so I do my part till daylight, singing, come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. Come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. Come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. Come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway.
There you go, Jim. A song about trains and labor all in one. I would like to give a shout out to Cindy Stock coming up this year. This is the first, I think, potentially actual live in-person outdoor concert that may happen for me this year, coming up in August, and you can look up more of that. But Cindy Yates has been hosting an event for the last 18 years, raising money for awareness around cancer and to provide free screening for people who need it. So Cindy Stock, you can Google that, check it out. I expect to be right in your fair city, just north of Philly in August for that event live. So stay tuned to that. Also, I'll note that this coming Friday, I'll be doing a special themed show for St. Patrick's Day in honor of the month and my own Irish heritage. I'm a dual U.S. Irish citizen. I'll be doing that concert for the Old Songs community, which is based in Voorheesville, New York. But of course, in this area, you can dial in from anywhere. So check that out next Friday night. You can also go to joejencks.com for more information on that. And if you haven't had a chance to make a contribution to this evening's concert, there are donation links being posted on various platforms. And your support is very much appreciated, as has been the case throughout most of COVID. I offer the music because I know it's healing, and I know that it helps people. I know that the music is keeping people sane in all kinds of ways and helping us stay connected. But I can only do that with your support. So if you value this as a concert, please consider paying what you would have for a concert, or more if you're able, or less if you can't. No worries. Just to receive the music as a gift. This next song is a song that really is a gift to me personally. It wasn't written for me, of course, but I know so many people write to me and say, oh, I love this song. You know, it really helped me through a hard time. This next song is one that was written by my dear friend and colleague and mentor, Holly Neer. And it's a song that's really been helping me through the last year. So as we, this weekend, round the bend on a full year of engaging in various forms of quarantine practice, I want to keep thinking about the hope that this song speaks of. And I want to send this out to Llouise and Jim because they are people who inspire hope in others. And it's called I Am Willing. I am open and I am willing to be hopeless
would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. There is hurting in my family. There is sorrow in my town. There is panic in the nation. There is wailing the whole world round. I am open and I am willing. I am open and I am willing to be hopeless. Would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. May the children see more clearly. May the elders be more wise. May the winds of change caress us, even though it hurts our eyes. I am open and I am willing to be hopeless. Would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. Give me a mighty oak to hold my confusion. Give me a desert to hold my fears. Give me a sunset to hold my wonder. Give me an ocean to hold my tears. I am open, I am open, and I am willing to be hopeless. Would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. Sing it with me. I am open and I am willing to be hopeless. Would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change.
I had lost both of my parents by the time I was 24. And I feel like, in some ways, my whole adult life, I've been going through the world looking for elders to adopt, looking for people that were just enough older than me that they had something beautiful to share, something that they could continue in my education, because, of course, we know that we never stop learning, and I was short on elders, and I've adopted many along the way. And Llouise and Jim have been very gracious in being a very nurturing presence in my life over the years in so many different ways. And this next song is one that was a song my parents would sing to each other around the campfire when I was growing up, and my whole family would go camping, and we'd pull out the instruments and start singing. This is one that they would sing to each other. And in honor of Llouise and Jim's 50th wedding anniversary last September 3rd, I'd like to sing this next song for them. So the song talks about finding, a place in the West, that ideal home. And I don't know that a lot of people think of Western Pennsylvania as the place in the West, but for Jim and Llouise, it absolutely has been. We'll get this straight away here.
With someone like you, a pal good and true, I'd like to leave it all behind and go and find some place that's known to God alone. Just a spot we'll call our own. We'll find perfect peace where joys never cease, out there beneath the kindly sky. We'll build a sweet little nest somewhere in the West, and let the rest of the world go by.
I was singing this song on my parents' wedding anniversary about 10 years ago, playing at a place in the Berkshires. And a couple from Boston came up to me, and they shared with me how much this song had meant to them, that they had always dreamed of building their place somewhere out in the West, and that they had finally done it. And I, of course, said, "So where is this wondrous place that you finally built out in the West?" And they looked at me and said, "Well, in the Berkshires, of course." And I thought only somebody from Boston could look at the Berkshires and think of them as the mountains in the West. But if you know this, sing along from wherever you happen to be. Great old country swing song.
With someone like you, a pal good and true, I'd like to leave it all behind and go and find some place that's known to God alone. Just a spot we'll call our own. We'll find perfect peace where joys never cease, out there beneath the kindly sky. We'll build a sweet little nest somewhere in the West, and let the rest of the world go by.
That's for you. Happy 50, Jim and Llouise, and many, many more. I had several requests for the following song for this evening, and so I will play this. It's a song that I wrote thinking about immigration, thinking about my family's journey to this continent. There's one tiny, tiny, minuscule piece that is indigenous in my family history, but it's hardly measurable. And the rest all came from somewhere else. And as I hear occasionally such hateful rhetoric about the idea of immigration, I want to respond as lovingly as I can. And this song is how I responded when I first wrote it, and it remains how I respond today, which is to remind us all that we can rise to the occasion and that we are made better for every wave of immigrants that comes here, for every person that comes here bringing unique cultural knowledge and intelligence and creativity and wisdom. It somehow makes us all just a little bit richer culturally. Lady of the Harbor.
From far away in distant lands, the tempest tossed with hopeful hearts and calloused hands, reached toward the light, the torch held high, and cast their gaze upon the Lady of the Harbor. And she welcomes them with open arms. She says, let my children in. Shine on, shine on, oh you Lady of the Harbor. And so it was with my own kin. They sailed from Sweden and from France and Ireland, their earthly cares packed in their bags. They cast their gaze upon the Lady of the Harbor, and she welcomed them with open arms. She said, let my children in. Shine on, shine on, oh you Lady of the Harbor. Now we're locking down the borders and we're filling up the jails, and we say they don't belong. How conveniently do we forget that we've all come to sing the same sweet song? Will the dream survive the strain? Will huddled masses have a chance to learn its sweet refrain? Or will we fall into our fears and turn our backs against the Lady of the Harbor? And she welcomes them with open arms. She says, let my children in. Shine on, shine on, oh you Lady of the Harbor. And she welcomes them with open arms. She says, let my children in. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor, shine on, shine on, oh, you lady of the harbor, oh, you lady of the harbor.
I'm going to do one more song right now, and then I'm going to take just a brief break, and we have a little guest appearance by my dear friend Zoe Mulford, who's joining us via video from the UK. And Zoe was kind enough. It's in the wee hours in the morning over there, so just on the chance that that technology might fail us, or that she might in fact want to sleep at this time of night. Her performance was pre-recorded, but I'm so glad that she could join us this evening. Zoe has played Friendship House concerts for Llouise and Jim many, many times, and has spent time with them as I have. And so I wanted to bring somebody else into the program this evening who had some memories to share of time spent in that beautiful old house in Pittsburgh that Jim and Eloise have held open for so many travelers for so many years. But before I do that, I'm going to sing a song for you that I wrote in Ireland a few years back. It's called The Coming of the Years, and it talks about, the tagline on the chorus is, I don't know when I will see you again in the coming of the years. And at the end it says, I don't know when, but I will see you again in the coming of the years. And so all of us are just keenly aware of the distance right now, but we will all see each other again, and I have faith in that. We will see each other in joy. And after Zoe's little segment, I'll be back for some more music yet this evening. And a big shout out to SongSpace at the First Unitarian Church in Pittsburgh, and to Brian Junker, who's been running this series. Thanks so much for all your work. And of course, a big shout out to Llouise and Jim Altes for all of your kindness to so many of us touring musicians and troubadours and bards over the years. Thanks so much for that. And they even drove, God love them. I had one live outdoor concert last year, the whole year, that was out in Lamont Village, Pennsylvania. And so determined, it was just about a week before their anniversary, and so determined were they to hear Joe Jencks near their anniversary that they drove all the way out to central Pennsylvania to sit on a hillside in their portioned off sort of COVID cubicle and hear me play. And that really just kind of made my summer. That was great. So this is called The Coming of the Years. And
when I first came here to wander these mountains, my heart was tattered and torn. Ever the rover and all the world over, no land ever felt like a home. But here in the crags and the bogs and the valleys, I found some measure of ease, where the song of the wind is as sweet to behold as the beautiful rose of Tralee. And it's high up and over the mountains of Kerry that I love so dear. I don't know when I will see you again in the coming of the years. I have been blessed to live a good life. I can count my friends by the score, and I have shared meals and moments of kindness. God willing, I'll know many more. But when the burden I've chosen to shoulder is more than I can stand, I find that my thoughts wander back up to Kerry, that rugged and beautiful land. And it's high up and over the mountains of Kerry that I love so dear. I don't know when I will see you again in the coming of the years. When I have traveled all of my journeys and sung all of my songs, when I have given the best that I have and righted most of my wrongs, then take me back to the place that I love. Let me gaze out over the sea. Take me back to the mountains of Kerry and let my spirit run free. And it's high up and over the mountains of Kerry that I love so dear. I don't know when I will see you again in the coming of the years. And it's high up and over the mountains of Kerry that I love so dear. I don't know when I will see you again in the coming of the years. I don't know when, but I'll see you again in the coming of the years. I don't know when, but I'll see you again in the coming of the years.
We're going to go to Zoe Mulford now for a couple of songs, and then I'll be right back. Thanks.
Well, hi. I'm Zoe Mulford, and I am recording this greeting in my living room in Manchester, England. I have played many times in Jim and Eloise's living room in Pittsburgh, and so I was delighted when Joe Jencks invited me to send this. I was thinking about that word delight. It can seem a bit quaint. Oh, what a delight. How delightful. But I like it best as a verb. You can delight someone. You can delight in someone. You can delight in delighting other people. And that is Jim and Eloise in a nutshell. Every time I played in their living room, I got the impression, which was always borne out, that I could talk to any one of those people in their audience and be delighted. Since I've been in lockdown, I have been writing songs with the piano, and I'd like to do a couple of those for you. This is a recipe for my favorite comfort food. It is called Mr. Rogers' Bananas. Peel some bananas and split them in two. A cast iron pan is the best one to use, and then you melt lots of butter until it just sizzles. Then fill up the pan from the edge to the middle. Then turn down the heat till it's barely a whisper, soft as the voice of a pastor from Pittsburgh, who likes you just as you are. You gotta be patient and just wait around to flip every piece when it's caramel brown. And when they're nearly done, then you can season them, squeeze in some lemon, a sprinkle of cinnamon. Serve with a spatula, scrape the pan quick, 'cause the very best part is the bits that stick. This is a dish that my mom and her sister learned from a soft-spoken pastor from Pittsburgh, who likes you just as you are. It's a simple recipe, bananas and butter and fire and thyme. And if you don't have any lemons or cinnamon, just leave them out. It'll still be divine. It's sticky and melty and salty and sweet, cozy as warm woolly socks on your feet. It tastes like a hug. It tastes like a snow day. You might feel like licking your plate, and that's okay. Family recipe, sister to sister, named for that soft-spoken pastor from Pittsburgh who likes you just as you are. It's a simple recipe that someone who loves you might make you sometime. And if you've got no one to fry you bananas, make some for yourself. It'll still be divine. And if you miss someone, you might hear them whisper, soft as the voice of the pastor from Pittsburgh, I like you just as you are. I've been having a lot of fun with the piano. A few years ago, somebody got funding to put pianos in public places around Manchester. And these were sort of old workhorse pianos that had been painted interesting colors. And they put them places like the platform of the Oxford Road train station, which is open to the outside air. So you can imagine what it was like to play one of these pianos. And I got to imagining what it would be like to be one of these pianos. It did not take a lot of imagination. I am a purple piano on platform 2. My keys are sticky, my strings aren't true, and people play me 'cause there's nothing else to do, but I will sing for you. Come on and play me while you wait for your train. You can thunk my pedals for a hideous sustain. Rockman on off and chopsticks sound the same, but I will sing for you. I've been all wrong since God knows when. I know I'll never be right again. Just a sideshow sound and a clown shoe hue. I am the purple piano on platform 2, and I will sing for you. I'll be here for anyone who wants to play. I will annoy the neighbors every hour of the day, and I'll sing until they cart me away, singing just for you. And when the junkyard takes my body, may the angels take my soul. They can haul me up to heaven. I'll wait there for Billy Joel. 'Cause I'm the purple piano on platform 2. My voice is crooked, but my heart is true. And I'll sing because there's nothing else to do. Singing just for you. I will be here singing just for you. Thank you, Eloise. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Joe. I look forward to the day we can delight each other in person again. Thank you.
On my mic, there it is. I'm Brian Junker. I'm with the SongSpace series at First Unitarian, and I want to thank Zoe Mulford for contributing that recording. That was wonderful. As you know, we have some more Joe Jencks coming up, and while he gets ready there, I'll just tell you that you can find out more about the SongSpace series at uusongspace.com. And it looks like Joe is ready to go, so I'm going to switch to Joe.
That's great. Thanks, Zoe. And thanks, Brian, for running some of the tech behind the scenes for tonight's show. Whatever platform you're joining us on, there's multiple streams, multiple YouTube streams, and out on the Facebook and wherever else, however you're seeing this. Thanks for tuning in this evening. This was another request from Llouise and Jim. Rise as One, a song I wrote about school workers in Ashtabula County, Ohio. But it remains relevant. It was one of Ann Feeney's favorite songs of mine. I forgot to mention earlier that when I got this instrument, this bouzouki, the acoustic bouzouki, I named it Ann in her honor. That was 11 years ago. And yeah, so in the spirit of all of that, Rise as One.
It is we who serve the lunches, and we who sweep the floors, and we who drive the buses with your children off to school. We keep the buildings warm in winter and cool when it's hot, and we will not let you play us for the fool. When we asked for better health care or an increase in our wage, you tell us that the township can't afford to pay the bill, but you found $500,000 from within those very coffers to try and break the union's back and break our will. And we will never give up, we will never give in, and we'll never ever go away. We will build a brand new future for our daughters and our sons. We will work till all workers rise as one. We believe in education and the future of our town, and the children that we serve from day to day. Whenever there's a need, we always go the extra mile. God knows we do it for the love, not for the pay. But we have worked as hard as any for every inch of ground that we've gained in the struggle for our rights. And we will not stand by idly as you try to tear us down. If we have to, we will organize and fight. And we will never give up, we will never give in, and we'll never ever go away. We will build a brand new future for our daughters and our sons. We will work till all workers rise as one. Well, we didn't have a penny in the strike fund, sad but true, that made us all a little bit afraid. But the call went out to every other union in the state, and somehow all the workers' bills were paid. You see, this isn't just our struggle, and it isn't just our jobs, and it isn't just the schools within our town. When we dare to raise our voice in solidarity, we stand with every other worker all the world around. We'll never give up. We will never give up. We will never give in. And we'll never ever go away. We will build a brand new future for our daughters and our sons. We will work till all workers rise as one. Held a rally at the fairgrounds to show 'em our resolve and drum up some support for our campaign. 1,000 people hit the street, that's more than half our town. And after that, you know, things couldn't be the same. Well, whoever would have guessed it when this whole thing began? We'd have the strength to hold out for so long. But 3 months have now gone by, and the school board just gave in on their demands. Now we can sing our victory song. We'll never give up, sing it. We will never give up. We will never give in. And we'll never ever go away. We will build a brand new future for our daughters and our sons. We will work till all workers rise as one. Never give up. We will never give up. We will never give in. And we'll never ever go away. We will build a brand new future for our daughters and our sons. We will work till all workers rise as one. We will build a brand new future for our daughters and our sons. We will work till all workers rise as one. We will work till all workers rise as one.
I'm going to go back now to the songs that I recovered from 1939 from the Rayford Prison in Florida. And these were songs recorded by John A. Lomax and Ruby Tyrrell Lomax, his second wife. And from June 2nd through June 4th in 1939, they brought their recording devices into the Rayford Prison to try and capture what was a very unique cultural expression that was going on in the music there. And they knew it was disappearing, and they really wanted to capture it and preserve it, and I'm so glad that they did. And the song was sung then on that Sunday morning in the prison chapel by a woman named Gussie Slater. And I have to think that in a different era, Gussie would have had a phenomenal music career. She was such an emotive and gifted singer. And you can go on my website and look up links to the original songs as I heard them. And there was a fair amount of effort required and tweaking of my audio gear to lift the lyrics out. But this was another one that was missing some bits and pieces, and it really felt like missing a whole verse. So I did a bit of a anthropological co-write with the folks back in 1939, the wonders of the age, and my musicology geeky side. It's called He's a Battle Axe. And there will be some fuzzy and distorted sounds coming across your speakers. Do not make adjustments. That is intentional.
He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. Shelter in a mighty storm. Can no man do like Jesus? Not a mumbling word he said. He just walked right down to Lazarus' grave and he raised him from the dead. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. Shelter in a mighty storm. Easter night he started back home, stopped in Jerusalem while pressing along. Folks heard a doctor's got more treasures than gold. Doctor, can you feed a dying soul? He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. Shelter in a mighty storm. Had it not been for Adam, there would not have been no sin. Adam broke the laws of these commands. Now we got a debt to pay. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. Shelter in a mighty storm. Mary was seeking for religion. She was only 12 years old. She was skipping over hills and knocking. She knocked at Abraham's door. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. Shelter in a mighty storm. Just like Abraham and Sarah, Mary had her a loving son. She bore to the world a Savior, and now every battle's won. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. Shelter in a mighty storm. A is for Almighty, that's true. B is for baby like me and you. C is for Christ sent from God. D is for the doctor, man of all. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. Shelter in a mighty storm. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. He's a battle axe in the time of a battle. Shelter in a mighty storm. Shelter in a mighty storm. Shelter in a mighty storm.
Not the folk music you're maybe used to, but very much part of our folk legacy in this country. These songs sung in the Rayford prison in 1939. Gussie would have been singing with a whole group of women, and she'd sing, "He's a battle axe," and they'd sing, "In the time of a battle." And I figured the only way to pull that off in a modern context was to use my own battle axe for that one. So, on to something a little more gentle. This is a song I wrote quite some time ago, and it's a song that I sing still to remind myself of what really matters. And I think a whole lot of people in the last year have been reassessing for themselves what really matters, what makes the most difference. And I come back to this song that came to me almost 25 years ago out of a dream. It's called "For the Singing." As I was walking down the only road I knew, I came upon a place where that one road turned to two. I took the one that seemed less worn. I did the best I could till I happened on a wise man all alone out in the woods. He looked at me a moment. He looked up at the sky. He turned as if about to speak, but all he did was sigh. So I ventured forth the question. I said, "Surely you must know, will the road that I now travel take me where I want to go?" And he said, "Do it for the power and you'll surely be a slave. Do it for the glory and you'll find an early grave. Do it for the laughter and you'll surely find your smile. Do it for the singing and you've gone the extra mile." But I still had some questions I thought might clear the air. I turned around to ask and found he was no longer there. I thought maybe this was God I saw as I got down on my knees. But soon enough I heard my answer in the wind blowing through the trees. And it said, "Do it for the power." It said, "Do it for the power and you'll surely be a slave. Do it for the glory and you'll find an early grave. Do it for the laughter and you'll surely find your smile. Do it for the singing and you've gone the extra mile." Many moons have come and gone. Now and then I go astray, but I come back to the path, 'cause for me it's the only way. Well, I do not have much money, but I find I have more time to seek the answers that I need in the eyes of those I find. They say, "Do it for the power and you'll surely be a slave. Do it for the glory and you'll find an early grave. Do it for the laughter and you'll surely find your smile. Do
Do it for the singing, and you've gone the extra mile. They say do it for the power, and you'll surely be a slave. Do it for the glory, and you'll find an early grave. Do it for the laughter, and you'll surely find your smile. Do it for the singing.
When I tour in Ireland, I take advantage of that time, and I write a song almost every year while I'm over there. I tap into something a little bit different, for me, part of my family history. And over many years, I've been absorbing bits and pieces about the Great Hunger, known to most people in history books as the famine. But my mother was very clear to teach me when I was young that a famine means there's no food. And the problem in Ireland was not about not having food. It was a political problem. For every aid ship that came to Ireland during the potato blight, carrying aid for the Irish, there were at least 6 ships leaving Ireland laden with food bound for other parts of the Commonwealth. And it really took me a long time to wrap my head around the radical nature of that injustice. And as more and more records had been revealed, they kept track of every sack of grain, every pound of cheese, every pound of produce that was being doled out. And yet they kept no track of literally over 2 million people who died, and another million that emigrated to anywhere they could get to. And this song is one that I wrote in the summer of 2019, the last time I was in Ireland. And I'm hoping to get back this fall. I'm hoping that's possible. But this is a song called When the Moon Rises Over Skibbereen. And it's a song that talks about all of that in a pretty gentle way, almost a lullaby for all of those folks.
By the banks of the island, the abbey story graves 10,000 aimless slaves. Their faces forgotten, their stories remain to speak of unbearable pain. Their voices rise up as the wind breaks the silence. The trees all bear witness to shame. A blight comes from nature, starvation from politics. Through history it's always the same. When the moon rises over Skibbereen, the most melancholy moon I have seen, do you think she remembers the sorrow she's seen when the moon rises over Skibbereen? 1845, potatoes first failed, but the people knew hard times before. So they pawned their belongings for food to survive. By late 1846, they were barely alive. Too weak from the fever and hunger and thirst to properly bury their dead, they were left by the roadside or dropped in the dirt, with hardly a prayer even said. When the moon rises over Skibbereen, the most melancholy moon I have seen, do you think she remembers the sorrow she's seen when the moon rises over Skibbereen. And who takes the blame for a failure so grand? There's plenty of guilt to go round. By time it was known how bad it would get, thousands were laid in the ground, in the ground. Some say the workhouse and others the crown. Some say the landlord's to blame. But by the next world or the new world, 3 million were gone, and a country was forever changed. Now the land and her people are thriving today, but there's a weight on the hills and the glens, and it's left to the living to remember the famine and swear to it never again. When the moon rises over Skibbereen, the most melancholy moon I have seen, do you think she remembers the sorrow she's seen? When the moon rises over Skibbereen, when the moon rises over Skibbereen, the most melancholy moon I have seen, do you think she remembers the sorrow she's seen? When the moon rises over Skibbereen, do you think she remembers the sorrow she's seen? When the moon rises over Skibbereen, when the moon rises over Skibbereen.
So next Friday night, the 19th of March, I'll be offering a concert for the Old Songs community based out of Voorheesville, New York. But of course, you can dial in from anywhere in the world to that concert, and you can find more information about that on joejencks.com. That's JoeJencks.com, or Google Old Songs, and their website will pop up as well. And hope to see some of you there as well for a special St. Patrick's Day concert from yours truly. And a huge shout out again to Brian Junker and to SongSpace hosting this concert tonight, connected, of course, to the First Unitarian Church in Pittsburgh. Little capo transition here. Pardon me for a moment. Had several requests for this song tonight, and I'm happy to play it for you. When I first moved to Seattle, right after I got out of conservatory, I landed in the neighborhood of Ballard, which was historically a fishing village, a lot of Swedish and Norwegian immigrants, and so many that when the king and queen of Sweden came for a visit, I got stuck behind their motorcade one day in Ballard and was there for quite some time. I didn't realize that Ballard was on the map internationally as a destination for foreign dignitaries, but indeed, for those from Norway and Sweden, Ballard was, like Washington, D.C., Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Ballard. Those were the places that they were determined to go. And it was kind of cool. It was kind of cool to realize that neighborhood had such historic significance to other countries as well. But a lot of my neighbors were at the time in the commercial fishing industry, and I got to know a lot of folks there. And this song came out of stories that I heard sitting around burn barrels and campfires in people's backyards. And I found out that St. Christopher, the patron of travelers, is held in very high esteem amongst many people in the fishing and seafaring communities. Many folks will keep a plaque to St. Christopher on their vessel or a medal of St. Christopher on their person or in their pocket as a talisman, as an omen of good fortune.
Back end of the season and the wind is bitter cold. It's just the sort of morning to make young boats feel old. The tanks are all topped off, we've got the permits free and clear. What more good haul could see us through until we start next year? But it's my call alone to make, and what I hate to blow. 6 families now, including mine, dependent on the things I think I know. I know the wind and water, and I am not afraid. But living off the ocean is a complicated trade. I never get my profit margins or my pride confused with the safety of this vessel or its good and hearty crew. But the time is now or never, and the weather looks to hold. I gather up the crew on deck, we bow our heads, pray before we go. St. Christopher, protect us from the cold and stormy sea. Watch over all these fishermen who put their trust in me. Never mind that salty spray or crashing of the wave. Bring us safely to our families and keep us from the grave. St. Christopher, we call on you this day. I've fished in weather worse than this at least 100 times. I still can't shake the shivers that are crawling up my spine. 11 hours out, the swells are getting deep. We can't put the nets out and it's too damn rough to sleep. If we stick it out till morning, things may calm down with the lights. If it turns against us, we'll be lucky if we see another night. St. Christopher, protect us from the cold and stormy sea. Watch over all these fishermen who put their trust in me. Never mind that salty spray or crashing of the wave. Bring us safely to our families and keep us from the grave. St. Christopher, we call on you this day. Well, it was on a night like this my father went away. Even though my mother begged and pleaded him to stay, I was standing there and waiting as his trawler left the docks. Saw the pictures of the wreckage that they found upon the rocks. 7 men were rescued of the 9 that left that day. Last they saw their captain, he was on the bridge. They swear they heard him say, St. Christopher, protect them from the cold and stormy sea. Watch over all these fishermen who put their trust in me. Never mind that salty spray or crashing of the wave. Bring us safely to their families or quickly to their graves. St. Christopher, I call on you this day. Now the difference between bravery and foolishness is small. healthy sense of fear can bring perspective to us all. I know you men are hungry for the cash this catch could bring. And if we go back empty, we'll be real tight come spring. But I've learned history's a lesson, and it isn't worth the pain. The things we stand to lose are so much greater than the things we have to gain. Saint Christopher, protect us from the cold and stormy sea. Watch over all these fishermen who put their trust in me. Never mind that salty spray or crashing of the wave. We will go back to our families. It isn't worth the grave. Saint Christopher, we call on you this day. Christopher, protect us from the cold and stormy sea. Watch over all these fishermen who put their trust in me. Never mind that salty spray or crash out of the wave. We will go back to our families. It isn't worth the grave. Saint Christopher, we call on you. Christopher, we call on you. Saint Christopher, we thank you for this day.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Huge thanks to SongSpace, Brian Junker, First Unitarian in Pittsburgh, for hosting this concert. And Brian, thanks for working on all the tech. And of course, this concert in celebration of the lengthy and beautiful contribution to the folk community of Llouise and Jim Altes, who hosted over 100 concerts as part of their Friendship house concert series in Pittsburgh, and what a gift to the community. And thanks to all the DJs in the area that are doing a great job. And I'm going to do one more song, and then I think we're going to get. Well, why don't we bring Jim on now, and then I'll close with one more song.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
All right.
And, we're having a little technical difficulty.
Jim, are you there?
Okay.
All right.
I want to thank Joe and Zoe, who was a total surprise to us. We didn't know about that until yesterday, that she was going to be on also. And I want to thank everybody. Eloise is watching this. She's unfortunately not feeling well enough to be joining us at the moment, but we are very thankful that this all happened. Also want to give great thanks for doing the house concerts over all those years to our daughter Rebecca, who at least on the day of the house concert always came and did much of the work. Eloise did all of the physical work leading up to the house concerts. I took all the glory, but she did most of the work. And we want to thank you all. And I wish we could continue to do them, but it's just not gonna happen any longer. But we had a good 16-year run. Thank you, SongSpace.
Well, we want to thank you too. It's been great. The Friendship House Concert Series, as I said, was such an important part of the Pittsburgh music scene, and we're really glad we could do this for you. And I'm going to switch this back now to Joe. Here we go. The Pittsburgh music scene, and we're really glad we could do this for you. And I'm going to switch this.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Eloise. Love you both so much. I'm going to ditch the headphones again. And thanks to all of you who have tuned in this evening for this beautiful celebration of community. And I can't wait until we're all together, able to be together and gather in the places that we gather. And just sending lots of love your way. A couple of hearts on the wall behind me, a beautiful wooden carved one and a stained glass one. And that word sanctuary, which means so many different things. But for me, the great sanctuary in this world is community. And nobody embodies that better than Llouise and Jim Altes and Friendship House Concerts. So thank you for that community, and thanks for passing the torch, as it were, onto SongSpace and collaborating with them to continue presenting music. And Brian, thanks again for all of your work. I'll close us out with a little bit of whimsy, a little bit of philosophy all rolled into one. Thanks again to Zoe Mulford for pitching in as well. And speaking of pitching in, if you have not had a chance to, please make a contribution to tonight's concert. There's PayPal and Venmo links there, and you can also go to joejencks.com, joejencks.com. And if you're not following my YouTube, Joe Jencks Music Official YouTube channel, please surf on over there and subscribe to the channel. You can also subscribe to my newsletter via joejencks.com. And I'll close out with this song. I wrote this driving from Syracuse to Chicago, and I was actually traveling from Albany to DeKalb, Illinois, but it was really the Syracuse to Chicago part that was really the heart of the writing. And I had this idea as I was headed west. What would happen if Ray Charles and Dr. Seuss had gotten together for a co-writing session? And as I was thinking about that and giggling to myself going down the interstate, this song started to emerge. And I'm so glad that it did. So I wish you well wherever you are. I look forward to seeing you again on another live stream broadcast or in person at a concert when that's possible. This is called Everybody Sings the Blues.
Well, I may not be the smartest man that ever walked on earth, and some of what's gone well for me might be an accident of birth. Oh, but deep inside, the mystery surrounding me and you is something I have come to know and hold is deeply true. Well, you may be a woman from the right side of town, going out evenings in the finest of gowns. Oh, but one thing's for certain, you know it ain't news. Sooner or later, everybody sings the blues.
Well, you may be erudite,
A real cool cat, a high-priced jet setter, going this way and that. Ah, but one thing's for certain, no matter the shoes, sooner or later, everybody sings the blues. Oh, lonely, we all get lonely sometimes. There's nothing anyone can do but hang on for just another day and hope to see it through.
well, you may be ironic,
You may be a clown,
you may swear that you'll never wear your smile upside down.
oh, but one thing's for certain, whether you win or lose, sooner or later, everybody sings the blues. Yes, one thing's for certain, you know it ain't news. Sooner or later, everybody sings the blues. Yes, sooner or later, everybody sings the blues.
Take care, everybody. Have a great night. We'll see you on the next stream or out in the real world. Thanks so much for being here this evening, and take care of yourselves. Be safe. Get vaccinated so we can all get together again soon.